Activision fires dozens amid shift away from live events. Interesting topic that we're going to talk about today. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment below about your thoughts on the whole debacle that's going on with Activision. So basically, Activision has culled 190 employees that are the front line who handle esports programming and other live events. Basically, you can chalk this up to the lockdowns and coronavirus. They couldn't hold these events, obviously, in fear of coronavirus spread. It doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you sit on the whole coronavirus thing, but at the end of the day, they've gone away from doing live events and esports. Basically, everything's going to be online, and I think that's the shift that Activision is going to go in. So they've basically looked at a department, and this is the way I see it. Okay, so this is my own interpretation of all of this. The way I see it is that in the real world, right, okay, when you're working for a company and you've got a dead department that isn't doing anything for you but spending money and it's costing you money, you get rid of it. You try your best. A company should try their best to reallocate jobs or make a transition period for them to move on within the company. Sometimes it's not possible to move staff across different departments because living arrangements and all the rest of it. So I am well aware that I hope that Blizzard did offer that to some degree. If that wasn't the case, which there's no indication in this article that would be the case, that they would do that, they've decided to pay the workers out. Basically, they gave them a 90-day severance pay with health benefits for a year, as well as job transition support. And we're also given a $200 gift card to Battle.net. I shouldn't laugh. I've been in this position before, right? So I've been made redundant a few times in different workforces, right? And being redundant is not a nice thing. But if you don't really like your job, a redundancy package is actually quite attractive, if you know what I mean. So if you get quite a good severance pay, a redundancy package from the company, it makes for a better transition to look for another job. You're not so stressed out. And if you don't really like the job anyway, it's not a big deal. It's not a nice thing to be made unemployed and being dragged into the office and they say, oh, look, things aren't going well, we're going to have to let you go, mate. It's a shame, The companies that do the right thing, they go, well, here's a severance pay, and your eyes light up. You're like, oh yeah, that's all right. It gives you that opportunity to look for another job. So sometimes it's a blessing in disguise when you move on from a job. If you're working for a company and it's not really working out anyway, maybe because of the person you're working with or people you're working with, it's probably sometimes the best move is to move on from that job. Try to make the best of a bad situation. So the job transition support, anybody that works in the workforce knows that's just fluff. It's basically, sometimes they allow you to get on Google and look for a job and they support you that way. Or, no one goes to HR, human resources, no one goes to HR and talks about what they're going to do. No one ever looks for that sort of support. I mean, they just come home and they're like, oh, you're just going to have to bite it in the butt and move on, No point getting upset about it. You can get upset with people that let you go. Try not to let that bug you too much. Try to move on. It's the best thing that you can do is move on quickly and find another job. It's not a nice thing, obviously, being laid off, but holding a grudge going into your next job is something that you do not want to do. You want to move on and always think positively about your experiences within the company, what you've done and what you've achieved. That's a big thing. The big kick in the guts of me would be the $200 gift card. That would probably rub me the wrong way. More than being fired, the severance pay, that would kick me in the guts more, is get the $200 gift card. That to me is more of a kick in the guts than anything. I mean, why would I want, after working for a company, want to use a $200 gift card to play a game with a company like Blizzard that have just fired me, I would want nothing to do with them. I would run for the hills. I'd probably put it on eBay. I'd probably try and sell the gift card. I would ask for cash too. If they gave me a $200 gift card, I'd say, look, mate, just pay me $200. I don't want anything to do with you guys. That was the biggest thing I saw in this article. It's like, what the? Who does that? Who does that? You know, that upsets me more than getting laid off, or, you know, and getting redundancy or job transition support, you know. Oh, it's just crazy. But here's the kicker, right? These things happen in a company. If you've got a department that's bleeding money, no company in their right mind is going to keep you on. But good leadership should show that the CEO should at least try and have a plan at redistributing their staff, trying to keep staff in house, because if you lose staff and you let staff go, people say, you know, you can be easily replaced, but that's not really true. It's very hard to train somebody up again. It takes time and energy, and replacing staff is not generally the right answer. You want to try and move staff around and try and keep that talent within the company, but you can't always do it, and that's what happens at the end of the day. So here's the kicker, right? This is what people are upset about. Bobby Kotick is the CEO of Blizzard, and he received recently a $200 million bonus. A lot of fans, a lot of people that play Blizzard products are really upset about is the ethics behind all of this, right? So you got a CEO that receives a $200 million bonus, and then it couldn't be the worst time for a company to do that. I mean, so he received the bonus basically. Bobby Kotick received a bonus through a loophole in the contract. It wasn't a loophole, but basically the company had been performing extremely well and made huge profits. So the fourth quarter reports were absolutely astonishing. The company was doing really well. He received a $200 million bonus on top of that. We can be disgusted by huge payouts like that, but you have to value whether somebody's worth that. And if the company's willing to pay somebody that amount of money, there's not a lot you can do about it. Now, I know this is going to upset a lot of people, right? And I don't think it's fair. A CEO like that takes those sort of bonuses and lays off 190 people just recently, it doesn't look good for Blizzard. It doesn't fare well for Blizzard. Remember the CEO of Nintendo back in 2000 and... what was it, 2002 or something, where he decided not to take a bonus. He decided to give that bonus to employees to keep them afloat in the company because he didn't want to lay off any people in the company. That to me is leadership, good leadership. A Nintendo CEO that does that, or a CEO that decides that they're not going to take the bonus, instead they're going to try to keep the staff that they have and not let anybody go. That's good leadership. That's good leadership. At the end of the day, it's up to the company to decide what somebody's worth, a CEO's what they're worth, and whether or not he's worth the $200 million. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think anybody's worth that, to be honest. But you got to remember, as a CEO, whether you hate it or not, when you get to the top of a food chain like that, it is very cutthroat to get there in the beginning. It's a cutthroat business. Do you think Activision CEO Bobby Kotick is worth the bonus of $200 million? Do you think CEOs are worth that? So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below. All right then. Bye.